Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Auburn Planning Board meeting of Tuesday, June 12, 2018, now called to order at approximately 7 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and broadcasted live by local access programming. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight that is recording tonight's meeting? There being none, please rise and join us in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the planning board members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. The first item on our agenda this evening is an A&R plan.
Yes, sir.
It was two, but one is
Yes, this is
not ready.
not exactly a conventional A&R plan. This is the special permit that was granted for South Street for Mark Mallard's Hammerhead lot. That decision was recorded at the registry, and the requirement was that they put the book and page on the Mylar and update it with the new street address for the parcel, and then bring in a Mylar for us to sign, and that's what we have before us today. I don't have any issues with it. They did exactly what we were looking for. So, just need a motion to endorse. When this permit was granted, the vote was 4-1 with Mr. Reed opposed. So it's up to you if you want to vote or not, but we just need a motion to endorse, and you need at least 3.
Do I have a motion to endorse the A&R plan for
Make
Mallard?
that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? One opposed.
All right.
Just 2 minutes. Can I put the date right under it so we get it forwarded later? Or does it need to be?
Should be there. You supposed to sign this one as well?
Yeah. So the second A&R is held up until next meeting, June 26th?
Yes, and a plan was submitted, but upon further review, it did not meet the requirements similar to what we asked for, the recorded book and page and address numbers, as well as it was needed to be signed by 2 towns because part of it was in Millbury, and there's a coordinate system that the engineer used which was not up to date also.
Okay, first public hearing is the discussion, 385 Southbridge Street, total outdoor, signature for Mass DOR document. Matt?
Sure. So this got onto the agenda, as you know. Oh, sure. This was already voted on at our last meeting to approve the project for the billboards. I wouldn't put this on the agenda, but it was done while I was away. They just required our signature on the Mass DOT sign permit, and I provided that today. Just to inform the board since it's on the agenda, but it's not something that the board needs to take action on.
Okay, the first public hearing, 7 p.m. Public hearing, Laith Azuni requesting site plan approval under section 3.2.6.0 of the Auburn zoning bylaws to operate a dental office with associated parking on property located at 838 Southbridge Street. There's a request that we continue this meeting to our next meeting on June 26th.
Yes, we need a vote
Do you
to...
have a motion to approve the continuance?
Make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Not quite 75.
You can still read those because they're both the same.
705 applicant, Longwood Development Corporation, requesting site plan approval under section 9.4.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaws to construct an industrial building with a construction yard on property located at 17 Mill Street. There's a request to continue this public hearing to June 26th.
I make the motion to continue to June 26th.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's a vote. You can do the other one?
Yep.
We have a 7:10 public hearing. The applicant is Masad Family LLC, requesting modification of site plan approval under section 9.4.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaws for parking, landscaping, and site layout reconfiguration on property located at 54 Faith Ave. There's a request to continue this to 6/26.
Mr. Chairman, this one wasn't a formal request from the applicant yet. Just want to update the board on this. So there's some special legislation that needs to take place at the state level, and Governor Baker and Paul Frost sent a letter to support that legislation as
For
it
the
goes through
road?
the process. Yes, and that's for the transfer of ownership of the discontinued portion of Faith Avenue. So until we hear back from that, Diamond can't move forward with their site plan because it includes that discontinued roadway portion. So the other end of it is the approved subdivision. I provided our covenant template to the engineer when I got back yesterday, so I assume that they'll be trying to push forward their covenant and Mylars for the definitive subdivision at a future meeting. But
For the whole project.
yeah, and that's just for the road layouts, but I don't anticipate that they'll do that unless they hear back from special legislation also. So this one,
So we might expect a continuance again on the 26th.
I would, yes.
Do we have a motion to approve the continuance?
I'll make a motion to continue to June 26th.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Okay, we're gonna have to wait 10 minutes for the next public hearing, which is 7:15, and we're gonna open it. So we wanna go through signatures, Matt, and then minutes, and
Yes, I was able to circulate the minutes this afternoon, and if the members had a chance to review them or not. If not, we can table it. But,
you mean by email?
correct. And I provided paper copies to you this evening.
Please, May
If you need
26th.
time to review them, that's fine too. I still have some signature pages for decisions to circulate.
Well, the only one that's on here is the 522, and this one's here. So, has any questions, or? Jason, you were absent, so it's just me.
Rachel provided them on Monday, Mr. Chairman. I had a chance to review and do some edits also. So it has been reviewed, at least once. If the board wants more time, we can table it, it's no problem. We don't have to. We'd like we can do signatures.
Do you prefer to wait and read them through?
Yeah.
Okay, we have some signatures, 430 Rochdale Street and 385 Southbridge Street.
Okay, so I just have signature pages for now. I'll circulate a decision to the board for review prior to having this stamped in at all. But I have the signature pages for 430 Rochdale Street. I've been going back and forth with their legal team on some language within the conditions, but the base of the decision we agree on. It's just how they're worded. And one of the questions that they have on 430 Rochdale Street, and I understand that you're recused for this one, Mr. Chairman, and you've expressed that throughout the public hearing process. And it lists you here as recused. But one of the things that they're asking is for a modification to construction hours. And they're asking, what we put in the conditions was 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and Saturday 8 a.m. to 12 noon. They're asking if we could adjust the hours to be Monday through Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's an additional hour and a half in the weekday. And then Saturday from 8 to 4:30 p.m. it's an additional 4.5 hours on the Saturdays. Just curious how the board feels about any of those. Reason being, in their letter, these extra hours will enable them to construct the project faster and adding additional days worth of work to each week combined.
Personally, I never have a problem going to 5 on Saturday. I wouldn't extend any Saturday time. That's just my personal
I agree.
opinion on that.
Yeah, I agree
Because if
with
they're
that.
working 7 to 3:30, they're gonna work till 5 anyway. Because what's the prohibitive from a $50 fine? I'd work till 5:30 every day too.
Yeah. And everyone, neighbors at work generally anyway. But Saturday, people are saying.
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday's
On
a little
Saturday,
different.
yeah.
So if the members agree, it's just like that in the form of an amended motion. So motion to amend that.
Make a motion to amend the original construction hours from 7 to 3:30 to 7 to 5:30, or 5, Monday through Friday. Saturdays remains the same.
Second?
I believe you're chairman while he's
No,
recused.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Second?
I'll second
Okay.
it.
All right, great. So I'll just circulate the signature page now anyway. And this is just for the 4 of you to scroll. The other,
When you date it.
Is it the 12th today?
yes.
All day, right?
Most,
The other signature page I have, Mr. Chairman, is for the billboards at 385 Southbridge Street. This was approved at our last meeting on the 22nd, but I've been out all in between, so I haven't drafted a decision yet. There's more time, but I figured get the signatures now, put the decision together in advance of our next meeting, save time. So what I have is 3 members. It would be Mr. Brooks, Ms. Steinhuber, and Mr. Regan, as Mr. Renner was recused and Mr. Faber was absent. So just need 3 signatures on that.
That still works.
not the same.
Now you.
No, it's
I got what, hundreds
Thank
of
you.
them. They take care of customers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Still have a few minutes, Mr. Chairman. I'd recommend a short recess. I actually have to go look something up real quick.
Make a motion to take a 4-minute recess or 2-minute recess.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's a vote. Okay, we have a 7:15 applicant. First Worcester Pentecostal Church, a request for waivers of site plan approval to operate a church within an existing facility under section 3.2.3.3 of the Auburn zoning bylaws on property located at 188 Oxford Street North, which is the location of St. Joseph's Church. Do we vote to open it yet?
We
No.
need a motion to open.
Have a motion to open the public hearing?
Make the motion to open the meeting?
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's a vote. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Would you please step up to the table and state your name and...
Can I send it to the chair? This is the engineer.
Sure.
Can I bring him up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just summarize over here. So what we had was a request for waivers at our meeting on May 22nd. It's a request for waivers of the public hearing as well as engineering plans and design requirements. Ultimately, the board decided to grant waivers of topography, lighting,
Drainage.
thank you, but the board denied the waivers for public hearing and engineered plan. So what we have before us today was a public hearing that was advertised in the TNG. Notices were sent out to abutters, and the applicant has provided us with an engineered design plan that was circulated to you in your packets. This is still the former St. Joseph's Church at 188 Oxford Street. It's across from the active church, building known to many as the one that's been empty for some time. And the applicant looks to continue a use of a church in that structure, which gives them some exemptions to zoning requirements and minimum parking requirements under the Dover Amendment. So with that being said, I'm sure the applicant can reintroduce the project to us.
Why don't you reintroduce and speak, and then however you'd like to proceed.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you. We are the First Pentecostal Church. Is a church, as I said last time, that has churches in about 60 countries around the world. It's an international movement. And the church, local church here in Worcester, has been in place for about 30 years. They rent a location on Stafford Street in the city of Worcester. And we are looking to stabilize the church by getting our own property. And our international headquarters have provided us with the money to buy this building and renovate it. And I took the advice of the board last time I was here, and I hired an engineer that has done a structural inspection of the building. Before I said I knew that we had some work to do, quite a bit. Now I have through our engineer, a list of stuff that needs to be done, obviously, but we're more than willing and able to get it done. So I'm here with our engineer, Mr. Severino Luna from Luna Engineering, and I'd like him to speak on the behalf of the building.
Okay.
Do you have his name? Excuse me. You guys' name? Could you please give your name to Rachel or a card?
Okay, Severino Luna. Give her my card.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. That's it. Again, my name is Severino Luna. We did the inspection on the building on June 1st and June 2nd. We assessed the conditions in the basement, and first floor and the attic. Most of the building have some type of finishing or revestment, but based in our inspection, where we have some girders, some joists that need to be replaced, sister, and repair. Also, some in the attic, some 2x8 that is consisting the rafters that is spacing about 24 inches center to center. A couple need to be repaired, but we didn't saw any major flaw, any major the columns. We opened one of the columns, the south, no,
I think that's right.
south side, yes, exactly this one. We opened that. It's not corroded, it's steel frame. The frame goes to the and is a mix with a old truss, old
Colotage?
no, is a truss. The name of the truss that I was trying to remember, but the truss is a wood frame with steel columns and
Laminated? Is it wood or is it
is
laminated wood?
is laminate wood with steel. The gym part. This is two. The buildings have two types of structure. The first one that I think is the older one from circa 1930, and this was an addition that was placed probably in the 50s because of the style of the frame. This is a mix with a steel and wood frame and tension bars that's typical from the 60s that they put in the wood to increase the span and avoid the
Columns.
cord. Yes, and that's this style. The building's lean, plump. I don't see any indications of any fractures that indicates that the building is in some of type of distress, need repairs. Okay, I don't see any need in the major frames in the gym. I saw some repairs in the attic. In the older one, the truss is a tie pad type style that is you open and you have some chord in the middle, and with that you have the span, and they have a big beam, and the frame is several frames, each 24 inches, but in some ways you need to repair some of the joisters, you need to repair some of the chords, but no major damage as well. I think the more concern was some rejoint that they need to do in the foundations, but all the foundations over here are pretty solid. No.
Is the foundation concrete or is it field stone or a combination?
It's a combination. The back, the 60s. To be honest, I don't know exactly the date, but by the style, I think it's 60s. The 60s is a concrete wall, foundation wall under footing. I didn't inspect the footing. We did not did the speed, but no cracks around the building. The only crack is this is a Hubble foundation, and the Hubble foundation have on top of the Hubble foundation they have cinder blocks. The cinder blocks need to be rejoined in the north east side. Other than that, it's pretty solid.
How is the flooring?
Beautiful. That means all building have a flooring. This is a crawl space. This crawl space, they open the foundation over here when they start to build, and they choose the is no flooring. It's just dirt, and they make holes to put the concrete piers. and that means you have flooring in this side of the building, nothing in this one, it's just dirt.
Well, yeah, I mean the flooring inside upstairs that you walk.
The floor. Okay, the joists are, some need to repairs. The sheeting, I didn't saw any major damage. Now the flooring in the gym, they have some bumps over here that they need to fix. Probably is because of moisture and frost, and that span and the moisture make the wood is
Buckles right up.
yes. That means you need to replace again. It's commerce, it's not structural, but all the flooring, at least this part of the flooring need to be replaced and fixed. Okay.
How about, I'm sure it needs a lot of ADA compliance for American Disabilities compliance for code.
Yes.
Needs a lot.
They have a ramp in the front, but yes, you need to remodel and do the adequate modifications for.
Yeah, it needs something out in the front where those steps are.
These need to be completely removed. Sorry.
He'll do it on the side because it's lower.
Because that's where that is.
Uh-huh.
So
But I mean, in general, the front steps look.
No,
Yeah,
they are all completely
It's gotta
deteriorated.
be
You need to replace everything. All concrete that you see outside of the building is no good. They
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
replace.
Except the one in the back.
Oh yeah, just this one. But this one need to be replaced. This one, these two, and all these need to be replaced.
The one with the two columns there is okay.
The columns are okay, but they need to.
Concrete's bad too
The
there.
concrete is bad. All concrete that you see outside of the building, except the back one, all need to be replaced. Okay, you see, by the picture you can see how deteriorated there is lixiviation and time, how the.
Look at the other side.
Yeah, and if you look the other side, the cinder blocks are at that corner. That's the ones that I told that need to be rejoined. Yes, exactly there.
You repointed.
Point, yes. And the others, I didn't saw any major, just again, some cosmetics. But this point over there is one what I advise to.
How is the condition of the choir upstairs in the front half?
The core, the mezzanine.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to. Okay.
That have a turnbuckle in it up in there?
No, they don't buckle. Just the measurements is not in the right proportion. When you go in the first floor, you have about 70 feet for this column that's supposed to support the mezzanine. That mezzanine is a little bit short, is 15 feet. That means probably they, in some time, they move a little bit instead of to put directly to support what's supposed to be main beam that support the mezzanine. They move. That means you need to replace. It's not a major. You need to take out the finishing and just confirm, because right now is a guess, but we need to see where is the bearing capacity, where is bearing that beam that holds the mezzanine. I guess that because the building is not in the right proportions, if you see, all the structure is about 9 feet in distance, but when we check the columns, they are 17, 16, 14, 13, and I don't know what is usually is symmetrical, and the building is not symmetrical.
I can tell you why. It's all rock under there. That whole street, that whole hill is rock.
Okay.
So wherever they can get it deep enough, They dug you the hole.
I would assume back then, this might have been constructed by a lot
Ledge.
of volunteers, too, a lot of help.
It is when they built Stoneville Heights up in there too. It's solid ledge.
That's what
Okay.
they did on a slab, right? That's why it's on a slab?
I think that the federal government came in, they put gravel in and they had done something and they mixed it with that and had to get rid of it all and then they had to do something else. It was a big project. It was a big.
Can I say something? Also, underneath the mezzanine, they put a wall, they put a temporary wall there for whatever reason, that's all gonna come out, because it's just something they put up probably when the kids were there playing and stuff, for
Yeah.
whatever reason, but it's temporary wall, it's not even finished, so that's gotta come out.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to see, you've been in there, John, right?
Never been in there.
Oh, you never been in? Wendy? You were. When we had it's, yeah, they used to have that upper section, and I'm just trying to think, as I remember, it went right across, but I didn't remember anything down below. You wonder, some of them I've seen that have rod coming down and supported, across that front face, but I don't remember what that was.
So you gotta re-support the entire mezzanine or the front part of it?
I don't think that you need to support, I feel, because usually the building indicates some fissure or some cracks, indicates if the piering is not adequate. I didn't saw any made a crack that indicates that is lean or is not supporting. What I believe is because, again, I'm taking a guess because they have the finishing, the drywall over there, but not drywall, the LEDs, but looks like they are not, how I say, is symmetric. And in some ways they move around to adjust when they were building. Usually, I did work in different churches, and usually they are very symmetrical. That's what I'm trying to say. They try to space in symmetrical ways. They try to do all the frame in a symmetrical way. And this one was not symmetrical. I don't know why. Okay, but again, I didn't saw any plumpness that is not right, any indications of that any again, it's visual. I didn't saw any crack or fissures that indicates that is not holding the building together. And usually in a church from this time period, they didn't have brockings. They don't put because by the code today you need to have some seismic, you need to have some wind capacity, and this one is still plumb with no torsion, nothing that indicates that you need to do something major.
Does Caleb get to look at that?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
If the board is inclined to move this project in ways of favor, that all has to get done with the building permit phase.
We just want to protect that when we put our signature on it, if we did, that no one's going to get hurt there because it's been closed and down for so long a period of time.
I would say, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe, and the plan came in last week or even maybe a little
So
sooner.
yeah,
but I
and
was,
you don't have this one.
Yeah, and it's not something I'm qualified to really review, so I'd almost recommend the town engineer take a look. Not so much the structure thing, but even the parking plan that we got also, I know it shows it on the other lot, but it's just showing the spaces laid out, but the town engineer had a chance to review this while I was out, so I think it's only fair that he gets a chance. Now, part of the reason I
He
wanted to-
didn't get a chance.
has not, so I talked to him this afternoon. But what I would recommend, and actually before I do that, I was hoping we'd have some abutters here this evening because I would anticipate some of them would have showed up. So part of the reason I left the room is to make sure they were notified, and they were notified, so that's good. But it's almost shocking no one's here. So I wanted to get some abutter feedback. But if they don't want to come to the hearing, this was the opportunity. So
The pastor was gonna grant you, like, I count here 32 parking spaces,
Correct.
and that's adequate.
Yeah.
Yes, so under our bylaws and the Dover Amendment, we cannot hold them accountable for a minimum parking requirement to our bylaw because it's a pre-existing non-conforming use. So, I do have one design question though. It's regarding that ramp. I know we see the footprint of the building, but if there's other needs for handicap accessibility ramps, you're working with a tight property line on the south side. So if it has to expand in any way, it's going to stay pretty close to the building. I know you have the one ramp that's there, but if it proves to be insufficient anyway.
You know where he means.
Yeah, the property lines are right there. It's,
Oh, we can see it right there.
where are we? The structure's right here.
You want the ramp in the front of the building.
I'm not saying it needs to be there. I'm just saying if this, it's hard to see, but let me get a.
He wants to keep it
We'll
within
probably
his
just put it
existing
right where it
property
is. We'll
line.
just,
Yeah, if it needed to expand in
rebuild.
any way, you don't have a lot of room to work with. That's all I'm getting at.
Have you looked at the west, back at the west end there, where it's bare for a little bit and then it goes into the woods? That if you were gonna stay, you could do your own additional parking there?
Correct. That would be our future plans, yes.
It's probably wide enough to get at least a double, middle lane and a double on each side and give you some more. And you plan to do some cosmetic work on the outside?
Oh, absolutely. We would have to.
Yeah,
Yes.
he needs to do some structural repairs, and that need to be a permit, and that's a process for the permits. But also now the cosmetics, the painting and the siding that need, the flooring need to be adjusted, remove some walls if he wants. Now all depends of what you intend to do in terms of cosmetics. I can say about the structural issues, but have some work to do over here.
Sure. Mr. Chair, I just want to reiterate some of the things that came up at our last meeting, and one of them was for traffic flow. Right now, the site operates where vehicles enter on the south side of the rectory building, and they loop around and exit at this intersection. And as the folks in this room understand that this is a very troubling intersection where, with Mass across the street, people crossing the street, stop sign here with some pretty good traffic and some regular accidents there. One of the recommendations of the town engineer that I think was received well by this board was to no longer have this as a means of exit. This would be the entrance point,
Correct.
Come out on the
and
south
have
side.
vehicles come on, exit on
Right
the side of the
turn only.
rectory. And one of the other recommendations I believe Ms. Steinhover said was to landscape the front here to prevent cars from thinking that they could park in front of the building.
Well, you're going to want to, through the chair, you're going to want to pretty up the front of the building too,
Yes.
right? You're going to redo those stairs and
Right.
likely some grass and pathways.
Yeah, there'll be absolutely no
Okay.
parking up there.
Yeah.
Oh, it could look nice if you,
Yeah, it could,
if you
yeah.
do it right and you go through
And
the
it should.
inside.
Yes.
Is that something that is a
No.
landscape plan that we're not, does that fall under the Dover Amendment as well? or-
No, that's something we could ask for.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see that, and consistent with the town engineer's recommendation, at least curbed off so that cars don't park right in the front. Because it's no fault of yours, but folks using the other
Yeah.
church are
Yeah.
parked there now.
Curb off, sidewalk, grass,
Yeah. Plantings would make it look really good.
yeah.
It just inhibits the entrance and then coming up,
Right.
going in.
Yeah, no shrubs or anything,
People
just
walking
grass,
across,
sidewalk. and,
blocks their
you know,
view of the cars a little bit coming up. And
yeah.
Just got a question. Now, if that was the case, that the traffic will go in one way and come out the other side, how does that work? Because the other side belongs to the rectory, not us. How? So far, we got a good working relationship, but
you'd have to get it in writing.
that's what I'm saying. That that.
Father Baba agreed to that at the last
He
meeting.
did.
I said if you...
Oh, you did?
Yep. if you
Well,
make
he was
it-
here, and he was going to be here tonight, but something came up, and he called me today and said he wouldn't be able to make it.
Because I said, you know, make your entrance to the north side of the rectory, come around the building, and when you exit the south side of the rectory, right turn only. And he agreed to that.
When you come out onto Oxford,
yeah,
just
right turn
right
only.
turn only.
That's
And if people go left, they go left. You can't
You can't enforce it.
enforce it. And we should just see what Bill says anyways.
Yeah, I think it'd be tough. I get the idea with right turn only, I just think it'd be real tough, only because
So you can put the sign
Worcester's the
there.
other way, you know? Folks are coming from Worcester, so.
You're just gonna create a turnaround in someone's driveway.
Yeah, it'll turn into the church's driveway.
Yeah.
Folks will go down.
And also,
that way.
there's, I don't know how many feet, but there's, from the driveway to there's a stop sign there. That when you, if you make a left, you're controlled by a stop sign. So it's not like you could fly into the intersection.
It's just if a lot of cars are coming out and they all are going that way and they're queuing in the road, and then the other cars coming up can't go by
Correct.
because they're blocked by them. And, so,
Well, you can put the sign there and hope that people will,
Didn't work at O'Reilly's.
no. No, not at all, yeah.
Where is the
the
parking of
emergency
the church?
driveway.
Driving it out of
The,
the...
the Catholic church,
Yeah.
it's behind the church, this way.
Okay.
Down. Right
Over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we do.
Yeah, that could be a bad area. But, you know, there's some things you gotta do because it's not the exact perfect location, and so everybody has to try to agree to make some changes.
So, just to review some of the things, I mean, the town engineer still needs to see this. I'd love for him to look at that as well. I don't know how much detail he's gonna go in there, because the structural is just more of a question on our end. That'll be handled by the code enforcement, building commissioner. So I'd almost like to see a flow pattern, just some arrows on this to show the circulation in the opposite direction.
And that you work with the pastor to,
Maybe a letter can
make
send
sure
from
that
them
you-
that says that that's...
I want
that's
that
allowed.
anyways.
Yeah, you want that. And maybe even show a closed curb off in the front, maybe even some plantings or something. I think that's consistent with what the board's been asking for. I don't think there's a whole lot of opposition to the project as a whole. I think it's a great reuse of the building, and I think it's a great idea, but those are the items that I just wanted to review with us, so I'd almost recommend a continuance for one meeting.
Scott, do you have anything?
That's all the points I was thinking about, yeah.
John?
My only question is when they go for the building permit and the redesign, or the structural design, does the building commissioner require that to be done by a mass PE, structural PE? I don't know.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Are you a PE,
Yes.
structural engineer?
Well, you didn't stamp the drawing and it doesn't say PE on your card, so I didn't...
Yeah, I think, yes, but I am a PE. I was not expecting to that you. Sometimes you ask, and sometimes they. I should didn't put electronic stamp because most of the time when I put a electronic stamp in the towns, they ask me to take off and put in ink, and that's why I print the copy because of old experience. Not about the PowerPoint.
Stamp the Mylar.
Well, it won't be one, it's only site plan review, so. But either way,
Wendy?
that would need to be on there too.
I'm just really glad that you have this done, and so you can go in feeling confident that you know what you're in for. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, great project.
Thank you.
And I'm fine with it, and hope it goes well for you. I just hope you do all the things that you should, so it's for your own best interest.
Absolutely.
So the board be amenable to a continuance to the next meeting, just to button up
26.
those final things.
To have a motion to continue to June 26th.
I'll make a motion to continue to June 26th.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Okay. So I already gave this to the town engineer.
Do I have to be here June 26th?
Will you be out of town?
It's June 26th, what day of the week is that?
Tuesday, 2 weeks
I'll
from
be
today.
here. I'm flying out of town Wednesday.
Perfect. All right, so, yeah, so it's, if, I'm gonna follow up with the town engineer, but I recommend you reach out to him also.
Okay.
Try to get his feedback, but I try to put that circulation motion on this drawing.
Mr. Luna, and
Okay,
Also, yes.
I have existing conditions, and I have this with the parking lot. By what I understood, you want some arrows over here to show that the parking lot to be
Traffic flow.
traffic flow in this way, and some plants over here, some...
yeah, it's to
I don't even think you need to show the actual landscaping, but if you left it, what am I drawing this?
Yeah, please.
Just to indicate that you're gonna landscape it, all you really need to do is something like this. So it'll look like that, and in this area right here, you just do your hash marks,
Mhm.
and you write landscaping.
just to close off that curve.
It's already done.
He gets $500 an hour, though.
Don't
I
I
believe
wish?
in that.
Alright, so, if you have any questions, let me know, but otherwise, take the copies.
You don't need the copies,
I'll take
bring...
one of each, I'll give them to the town engineer.
Here,
Got two? Perfect.
2 of each one, and this one should copy mark over here I'll be using.
Okay.
And you have this one that you can use
Okay.
for this one.
Great. Alright, so we'll see you guys on the 26th.
Can I come see you tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna be out in the field a lot tomorrow.
I'll
but,
call you.
That'll work too. Okay, great.
You sent the report for them.
You got a copy of the report?
Yes, got that all. Thank you.
You have
Thank
that?
you.
How you doing?
Good luck.
Great.
Alright. Just read this.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
The following hearings were previously continued to June 26th from May 22nd. The first one is the applicant is Packagug Farms LLC, a definitive subdivision plan for a 7-lot subdivision and construction of a new roadway with a stormwater management system located at 71 Curtis. Can you update us, Matt?
Yes, well, actually, I cannot. Since our last meeting, that was the latest update, was that he was switching engineers. Was trying. I met with Mike Scott over at Waterman Design, shared Mr. Regan's plans with them too, and they were trying to determine a course of action there, but their first order of business was to file with the Conservation Commission.
Okay, so there's no action on this.
Not yet.
Okay, and the other 7 o'clock applicant was Auburn Planning Board. Request to hold a public hearing to discuss potential rescission of definitive subdivision approval in accordance with MGL Chapter 41 and 81W and Auburn Subdivision Rules and Regulations, Section 6.3, for a subdivision known as Packagug Farms at 71 Curtis Street. That's what we will doing if they don't.
That's
we
what.
have that option.
Yeah, that was our hearing to prompt the refiling.
We've been pretty gracious with them, but if they still need some more time, we'll...
Yes, they have a 135-day clock from the day that they filed, so they have to move on it.
How much time about do they have?
They have till approximately August, I believe.
Do they... No. We'll wait until we open them again.
They can extend if they give us a written extension request, but we'll see what happens.
And the board votes on it.
Yes.
Okay, signatures, 430 we did, 385. Member discussion, associate member vacancy. You're still gonna be going, you'll stay as long as till we find a replacement.
Thank you.
Should we
Within
see?
reason. I mean, it won't be up to me some of those days.
Right.
Minutes we did, next meeting, we want time to read them. Next meeting is June 26, 2018. Is there anything else by any board members? Mr. Matt,
No, sir.
Rachel? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote.